everyone and welcome to my studio, the Pottery Corner, down in Chichester on the south coast of England. We're doing another kiln glaze fire opening, so I'll flick the kiln. It's cold, it was cold yesterday, so I know that I don't need to use my gloves, although I will put them on if there are any stilts or anything caught on the bottom, just so to protect my hands. So in the top layer of this kiln are two platters, one by a student and one of mine. So we'll do mine first. And I do a course, there's a course on my website to come along and make some of these platters. So if you like what you see, have a look on the website, and there's a course on there called the Platters course, and you can come and make some of these platters. They look amazing on your table. So this one of mine has got Nerikomi cubes or rectangles pressed into the slab. So this is black clay and green stained clay made into a rectangle and then cut in slices as you would slice a cake, and put onto the slab. And then over the top of that is Amaco's sea foam. So it's a lovely green, and it has almost like a sort of a surface texture to it, so it does kind of have sort of a foamy texture, which is presumably why they called it sea foam, but it's really very nice. And then on the back, because you don't actually see the back, I have just put a transparent glaze. So that is a lovely platter, looks really nice with salad in it, and when you have lots of platters on your table and they all match, it really looks really nice. So that's a goodie. So this is actually a student's platter. So this platter is Jane's, and she has glazed this in Amaco fog. So the actual glaze itself is Amaco fog front and back. Before she glazed it, she put on the copper oxide on the fish motif, which is a stamp pressed into the slab. And then she's wiped back the copper just so that it sits in the texture lines. And then, as I say, fog over the whole thing. And then this blue and green here is just oxide, cobalt oxide for the blue and copper oxide again for the green, puffed on with a paintbrush. And it looks really good. It just breaks up the plainness of the glaze. So I'm sure Jane will be very happy with that. And as I say, made in a Platters course. So, you know, she's a relative beginner. So it's very easy to make them. They're not difficult to make. And then, of course, you can put your own personality on them in whatever texture stamps or whatever. Right, shelf out. And we'll see what we've got in here. And we know what's coming next. Nasty little props. Take them out. While I'm taking the props out, the courses are continuing. And as I say, we're based in Chichester, which is in West Sussex, south coast of England. So if you're a local person or know a local person that wants to do pottery, do go to the website. In here, first thing out, wonky pot. So I've been making this series of wonky pots for succulent plants or cactuses or whatever. This one is Amaco's iron yellow on the base and iron yellow inside. Outside, I have used manganese oxide on these sort of flower stamp details and wiped it back. And then the whole thing is covered, not that you would know, in Amaco's new glaze called Oxblood. And I have to say, I'm getting interesting results, not necessarily good ones. The colour of the Oxblood really only comes up, these brown, sort of reddy brown bits, if the texture, if it's really, really thick on the texture. And as you can see, this is a textured pot with a roller texture that I've made from a bisque roller. And even with a thick application of Amaco Oxblood, it's not really showing as I would like it to. So either I need to go thicker or I need to give up on the glaze, but we'll see. So that one's, it's okay, but it could be better, as they say. There are students' bits and pieces in here. So one of the students has been making a set of coasters. That one is in frog, again using a fish motif. These are my marbled mugs, so they're not glazed. The actual clay is marbled. So each colour marble is put together with corresponding colours of marble. So this one is paprika and coral, and the clay base is white, so I leave some of the clay white. This one has an orange handle, paprika handle, and a paprika disc, and a nice ombre inside on that one. And again, good size, nice shape, nice handle, slight texture on there from one of my textured mats. So that is a goodie. Now this is my favourite glaze combination, and interesting. I'll show you this bit first. This is the cookies that I have placed under this mug. So I put a big cookie underneath the whole thing, and then built up a couple of little cookies that I've made, and you can see there's a great big drip of glaze on there. Now that great big drip of glaze would have been on my kiln shelf, and let me tell you, it takes ages to grind these things off. So best to use bisque that you've made yourself. And in fact, I'm going to do a video on this called Top Tip Tuesday, how to make cookies for your kiln. So watch out for that video. If you subscribe, then you'll get a notification when I've done it. So I'm going to do that this week. So the mug that was standing on there was a mug that I refired because it had some pinholes in the seaweed. And as usual with these mugs, when it comes out the second time, it's so much nicer than it was the first time round. But like I say, we need to watch the dripping. And in fact, if I hadn't have put that cookie on there, I'd be grinding this section here. Well, I will have to grind it a little bit anyway, but not very much. But I would be grinding that off of a cookie. And the illustration of that is the previous firing, where the cookie got actually stuck on the bottom. And I've now ruined this mug by when the glaze came off on the side, and half the cookie is stuck on there. So lesson learnt this time by using a build-up of the cookies, so that I knew that the cookies were not sitting on the base of the glaze. They were kind of in the middle in this section. However, fab mug. I actually made my first morning coffee in this mug this morning. Cheers. And this is, it's like the daddy mug, but in the same colourway. So that is a really, really decent sized mug. This one is a decent sized mug, but this one would be for a no blinking for a couple of hours type. And this combination is Amaco's Cobalt on the bottom third, Amaco Snow inside and down a third, and then Amaco Seaweed all the way round. And as I say, this actually has been twice glaze fired. So it's been fired once in the glaze kiln, and it had some pinholes, and I've just popped it back in the kiln, and it actually comes out better second time round because the dripping, it looks so much better. So that's a real daddy mug, and I might put it on the shop, but I might have to keep it. But I do have to stop myself from keeping all the delightful mugs that I make, otherwise I'll just end up with so many mugs. Right, half shelf out, and in the bottom of here, again, there's a little bit of students' work and a little bit of mine. That's that. Going back to the Top Tip Tuesdays, if there's anything that you really would like to know about a particular thing that you're struggling with, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and do a video to help you out on it. So do communicate with me. I'm very happy to receive your comments. That would be nice to hear from you, so do pop a little comment in. This is the same colourway as the previous mug, so paprika and coral, and this one has the button at the bottom of the handle and a paprika handle. So that one actually is really pretty. The marbling on it is very good, and the ombre is very good inside. So another lovely mug. Different colourway. This one is cornflower blue with Bramley apple green, and then the white clay body again. So again, that's nice, with a blue handle with ridges on and a blue button. So that's a lovely mug. pretty, very pretty, very seasidey. You know, it's got sort of like seasidey tones on it. And again, very nicely ombreed inside. And I like the way that when this cornflower blue stain is mixed, it doesn't quite mix perfectly. And then you get these lovely sort of darker spots, which give you this lovely sort of spotty texture actually on the mug. And you can see it probably better on the handle there. So yeah, very nice mug, very nice and usable. And as I usually say, feels nice in the hand. It's nice to use a homemade mug, a handmade mug. Right, this one is the other colourway of marbled mugs, which is black and bright red mason stains with the white clay body again. And this one I have done a textured matte handle, and that is in Amaco Snapdragon and Snow mixed together 50-50, so not layered but mixed. And if you layer the Amaco glazes, you get one sort of set of colours, and if you mix them you get a completely different colour. So it's always worth having a go, if you've got some Amaco glazes, mixing two together and seeing what you get. And obviously Top Tip Tuesday we're doing the cookies, but I also use my cookies for test tiles, so I'll talk about that on the next video. So again, the inside of that one, very nice. And again, nice shape, nice handle, very usable. This is one of my students' pieces that she's made for a friend. That is a blue midnight underneath seaweed and true celadon on the top. And she's carved out a tree motif, a willow tree motif, and then used ironstone just on the inside of the trunk just to give it some brown. So I'm sure her friend will be very pleased with that. And indeed, this is the same student's work, and indeed for the same friend, I believe. So this is a craft crank oxided sculptural poppy head to go out in the garden. So these craft crank heads can go in the garden all year without any problem. So this has been hand built and then oxided with copper oxide, which if you don't put anything over the top of it will turn black like this. And I love the way that you get these sort of toasty colours, and they look really good in the garden. And she's made individual petal heads with a hole in the centre for this particular poppy. Sometimes, as you know, we put glass on them. So that is very nice and will look lovely outside in the garden. Not much left in here. There are some more of Diane's coasters. These ones are in Storm. So that's Amaco Storm. That's a really lovely glaze on its own. Nice, clear, glossy, dark blue glaze. So very nice. And there's more in the fog. Fog's a particular favourite in the studio. I'll open a bottle of fog and half of it will be gone after one lesson. So that one is the fog. And it's a really good glaze. So last couple of bits in here. This one is stuck to the kiln shelf. No, well, there is a little bit stuck to the kiln shelf, but we managed to get it off. This is Karen's. Karen, this is one of the smaller ones of your cabbage leaf bowls. I'm afraid I can't tell you what the glaze combination is on there because Karen has just brought this in to pop in my kiln. But yes, very nice. I think that might be deep speckled sienna, I think is the one that she had upstairs. So that is really nice, and the texture is fab on it. So she's used Savoy cabbage leaf, I think, by the look of it, and it gives you this lovely texture where the glaze breaks over the bowl as it goes over. So yeah, very nice. That's nice, Karen. And the last thing that's in this kiln is one of my vases with the Nerikomi roundels. So these are, so this is thrown on the wheel, the vase is thrown, and then I put these little dimples on, which I quite like the dimples. And then these are Nerikomi roundels, so that's black stained clay, and then that one looks like paprika and that one looks like honey. And then I make my own roundel things and cut them, as I say, like a cake, like I said earlier, and then stick them on and then paddle them on so that they're flat to the surface. And I think they're really nice. They're kind of sort of modern looking. So nice. So on the outside, this is smoke in the dimples. And inside, I thought I'd go out off-piste. And this is Amaco's Palladium, which is the one with the mirror finish. I hope that you can see that. There are a few pinholes in it here. Don't quite know why that's done that. The piece might have had some dust on the rim. But where the Palladium has just come over the rim onto the clear transparent glaze, there's this lovely drag just on the rim. So I didn't actually know that it would do that. So that's a nice surprise. Sometimes you get nice surprises and sometimes you get some surprises you don't really like. So that one's nice. That one I'll pop up on the shop at some stage. So if you're interested, have a look. So as I say, class is continuing. There are very many items in the shop. There's more biscuit firing to load. There's more glaze firing to load. So there's a lot going on at the studio. Do have a look at my website, which is www.thepotterycorner.co.uk. And there's links through to the online shop. I also offer kiln firing services if you're a local person and don't have a kiln of your own. I'm on Instagram, which is the.pottery.corner, and on Facebook, The Pottery Corner. So I'll see you on the next video. And as usual, I will eventually get round to editing, but here's the 6 seconds, and we'll hope it works first time today, shall we? GoPro, stop video. And no, it won't. So then again, I look really stupid. Here it goes again. GoPro, stop video. And then it won't do it at all, so I have to turn it off manually. Bye now.